This is the ruined city of Mordheim. We started building it back in 1999. It's huge, it's old, and it's one of the most collaborative terrain projects I've ever been part of. Now today, I want to show you why this board still gets people talking, why it's held up after more than 2 decades, and why it still smells faintly of Foamcore, paint, and overly ambitious hobby plans. And at the end, we'll take another sweeping look at the setup, populated with some figures from my brother's Empire Army for scale. Now, we started this build over 2 decades ago, just after Mordheim was released. And it wasn't just me. This was a group effort from the start. You'll have seen some of the crew on this channel before. John with his epic orc warg, and Simon and his Titan legions. And of course my brother, who painted the Empire figures you've seen at the start and you'll see again later. And there were others, too many to name, but every one of them left their mark on this sprawling board. Now, back then, we were completely focused on creating terrain specifically for Mordheim. I didn't actually play the game much myself, but I loved the setting, and the design brief was too good to resist. A ruined Gothic city, riddled with elevation, hazards, and cover. A perfect excuse for a full-on terrain build that would stretch my scratch building and kit bashing skills. Now, I might have raised a few eyebrows amongst you saying, I never played this landmark game. But you see, it just wasn't my style. I was deep into mass fantasy battles like Warhammer and playing Call of Cthulhu RPG, and I just didn't fancy this sort of skirmish. But the prospect of building such a unique set of terrain was too exciting to turn down, and I knew it was going to be used for more than just a few skirmishes. Before we started cutting foam, we roughed out most of the layout on paper. We measured footprints, eyeballed scale, and slowly expanded from a few buildings into a whole city. The result is enough ruins to fill a board that's 4 feet by 8 feet. Far too big for a standard Mordheim game, but brilliant for Warhammer fantasy battles and for variety. You are probably thinking right now, this is way too big for a game of Mordheim, and you would be right. But this setup gave us enough modular ruins to make multiple Mordheim boards, each with a slightly different character, and actually enough terrain to run a mini tournament at the club with 3 or 4 tables running simultaneously. We got so much mileage out of the original Mordheim box set sprues. If you've ever seen them, there were all sorts of bits and pieces that came. There were sprues with doorways, Gothic windows, timber beams, and others with ladders and kind of dormer windows and ruined roofing. And we tried to use all of it. We didn't stop there. Our local hobby shop really got into what we were doing, and their visiting Games Workshop reps saw our other projects, and so they sent us a box of extra parts to help us prep for one of the shop's Games Day events. Inside were white metal greebles, Gothic window trims, demonic faces, all sorts of goodies that we scattered throughout the city. These were amazing for detail and helped define the style of the board. Remember, this was way before 3D printing was a thing, so this would have cost us a fortune in kit-bashed models back then, or it would have taken us a lot of time to build them all from scratch. Every structure was started in a similar way. Once the plan was set, we cut a chamfered Foamcore base to blend the building into the gaming board, and then we constructed the shell of the building with Foamcore, glued together with hot glue for speed. Window and door openings were cut to match the Mordheim components, like these Gothic windows just here. The real character came with the wall textures. We used three main approaches: sand, PVA and emulsion mix for rough stone or crumbling plaster, sometimes skimmed filler between balsa wood frames to mimic wattle and daub, and then scored and scribed filler to represent stone courses. But we didn't make many of those because they took far too long hand scribing the stones. In all cases, we mixed plenty of PVA into the base coat of paint for strength. These things were built to last. I already mentioned we didn't have 3D printers or sheet casting techniques back then, so every inch of texture was made by hand. And it's led to a really rich variety in texture and finish, which we pulled together with our paint and weathering techniques. We made each floor as a kind of a separate component. Each plank is balsa wood, individually cut, beveled, slightly exaggerated to catch the light, and chamfered for texture. We glued them in only after the wall textures were complete, which helped make the build smoother. We could have just made foam core floors, and we did that in a couple of places, but doing it this way has added so much character. Some builds stood out. One of my favourites was a tower, this one here, made from a cardboard, I think it's a carpet tube, with a spiral staircase winding around it. I was so proud of this one, but of course, the balsa wood doesn't last forever, especially when it's been rattled around in a box for a couple of decades and it's finally collapsed. I knew it was only a matter of time, but I'll restore it. It deserves a second life, and I'm hoping to show some of that in another video with a bit of on-camera repainting. When we originally built this, we also had a port and a canal, and these were built as terrain tiles that stepped up in elevation. Very similar to the sewer risers I've shown in other videos, but they were fantasy and a lot more rustic. They were made of expanded polystyrene stuck onto a plywood base, and they started looking far too tired for the table. We lost those tiles over time, but the tops were made using the same kind of cast slabs we used for the Lizard Man City. The same mould, just painted differently. I've tried to recreate the elevated look using my superhero sewer terrain as stand-in risers for now. Now, beyond buildings, Mordheim needs scatter, lots of it. Crates, barrels, tables, gibbets and stocks, barricades. And we built a lot of that from scratch. We also made walkways and ladders, some of it from the balsa, so gangs could fight from the rooftops. Because if you know the Mordheim rules, you'll know that verticality matters. Ladders open up new charge lanes. Walkways give you line of sight, and the scatter gives you these cover saves. That's your best bet for breaking up fire lanes and making the game more cinematic. Now, in the spirit of that vertical terrain concept, we made plenty of the ruins stack up as high as possible to give it that true medieval city centre feel when it needed it. We didn't waste anything. All the balsa offcuts from the floorboards got swept up and used as kind of flock. I mean, look at this debris on the bases. I can honestly say I've never been able to recreate this effect. Those balsa splinters are absolute gold dust. And to add a bit of realism, our rubble came in 3 grades. We used fine sand, sawdust for a kind of a mid-level grade, and then a few grades of aquarium gravel for the heavier pieces. All of it went down with tons of PVA mixed with dark paint to try and kill the white edges if anything chipped off. That base texture and the absurd amount of glue probably kept these buildings alive as long as they have done. Now, I won't lie, some of the buildings haven't fared so well. There are breaks, bends, collapsed roofs, but I'm going to try and bring them back. As well as ruins, we're also drawn to making full buildings, not just for Mordheim, but for more the fantasy battles. But for Mordheim, the brief demanded ruins. And in many ways, that made it easier. We could lean into weathering, broken beams, jagged edges, and we got away with much more roughness than we usually would. Now, I should also point out that the crates and barrels that you can see here are the same as the ones in the Lizard Man City video. They slot in perfectly here. That crossover terrain is really helpful for the ruined port and the trade district. So here's the board again, after 20 years of wear and still going strong. I'll leave you with a few shots of it, fully laid out, and my brother's Empire warbands marching through the rubble. He started painting that army in the mid-90s, and one day I'll give them a proper spotlight in an upcoming video. But for now, enjoy the city, and if this build inspired you, please hit like and subscribe. There's plenty more where this came from. Let me know in the comments if you ever built for Mordheim, or if there's a piece here that sparked a memory or that you particularly like. I'd love to hear your terrain stories. And with that, we'll see you on the battlefield.